Hello, everybody. A very good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. I would like to thank everybody for joining on today's webinar, which is going to be focused on ISO 22301, which is the Business Continuity Management System Standard. And just a few things before I hand over to Mr. Swami, who's going to be our presenter for the webinar. This webinar will run approximately for 1 hour, in which the end 15 minutes will be dedicated to our Q&A and poll section. So if you can see on your screen, there's a Q&A box. So in the end of the session, if you have any question pertaining to today's webinar, you can just post it in our Q&A box, and our presenter, Mr. Swami, will be addressing your questions. And simultaneously, I'll also be running the poll, so we really appreciate your feedback. And I think, yeah, that's it from my side. I'd like to hand over to Mr. Swami.
Uh, Thank you, Arva. Very good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whichever part of the world you are. Welcome you for this ISO 22301 2019 Business Continuity Management System. What we are going to look at is that we are going to look at the standard requirements as such and how you have to get yourself ready for the certification of this standard. Now, coming back, the agenda for the day, we are going to introduce about Azure and then the basic terminologies that we must be aware of when we going to implement business continuity and management system. Business impact analysis, one of the important aspects, and about ISO 22301 2019 standard and their requirements. These are all the topics that we are going to cover within this available time of 1 hour. As was said, it will be going to be 45 minutes where I will be talking about all these points. Now, about Azure, we are a Denver-based Colorado licensed CPA firm specializing in cybersecurity audits and assessments with a major focus on ACPA SOC 1, 2, 3 reports. We are also an ISO IEC accredited certification body for data security, that is for ISO 27001 standard. We have an associated office in Mumbai, India. We are listed with Cloud Security Alliance and PCOB USA as auditors. Our team has several years of experience, extensive experience in cybersecurity, as well as experience in leading industry certifications. We have specific experience working with large clients and also small and medium-based clients. Azure is one of the few entities worldwide which can provide SOC 2, ISO IEC certifications, VAPT, cloud security assessments under one brand. Our purpose of existence is to cater the specific cybersecurity needs of organizations to provide niche services in this space. Our vision is to see a better world free of cybercrime and free of nefarious use of data and systems. Our mission is to provide quality audit and assessment services to prevent data breaches and to improve our clients' cyber maturity. These are all our services that we are having on hand to offer: SOC test reports, ISO IEC certification services, and US Federal Assessment Service, India 13 assessments, and privacy assessments, vulnerability assessment and pen test, and cloud security assessments. Other cyber security services like providing technical manpower to your organization for conducting any kind of cyber security related services. This is our credentials for being a CPA organization, CPA firm, and this is the credential for having listed with PCOB for as an auditor, and this is a credential for being an auditor listed with CSA, Cloud Security Alliance, for conducting STAR level 1, 2, 3 assessments and certifications also. We are a certification body accredited by IIS, International Accreditation Services. And also this is the credential for our listing with CERTIN, where we can conduct vulnerability assessment and penetration testing for all your website applications, network, and other aspects of it. We also can conduct a lot of trainings on these areas, PAPT and other areas. is our CEO, Mr. Ashwin Chaudhary. He has handled around 20 years of experience in cybersecurity governance, risk and compliance, qualified CPA and MBA, achieved global certifications both in data security and privacy, has been instrumental in setting up large cybersecurity architecture for several large organizations, and he has SOC 2, SOC reporting engagements, and cloud covering IIS, PAS, SAS, and others. He is also giving a lot of sessions on IS ISACA and also participated and provided a lot of materials. You can refer them in his LinkedIn page. He can be reached through ashwin.chaudhary@asdeer.io. It's myself. I am the audit delivery head at Asdeer. I have 37 years of experience in the IT industry. I have 10 plus years of experience in cybersecurity and governance compliance, qualified MCA, certified ISO 27000K lead auditor, knowledge of CCSK and SOC 2 is available with me, and also conducted a lot of SOC 2 and cloud security audits, achieved organization-wide certification, and monitored ISMS implementation, and also audited a lot of ISMS and SOC requirements. Now, these are all our global customers. Control Map, EY, Glance, Hotel Key, Measured, MoEngage, Reliance Jio, Siflay, and Xenia. Now, coming back to the topic of the day, ISO 22301 Business Continuity Management System, we will be looking at some of the important terminologies about business continuity. What is business continuity? It is the capability of the organization to continue the delivery of their products and services during a time of disruption in the services or in their operations, which should be given within the acceptable time frame at predefined capacity during the description. Now, business continuity plan is the documented information that guides an organization to respond to a disruption, and resume, recover, and restore the delivery of the products and services consistent with its business continuity objectives. Now, the purpose of the continuity plan is to have what are all the services that are critical to the organization, how are we going to respond in case of any disruption to those services, and what is the recovery time objective and recovery point objective time that we have set, whether we are able to achieve that within that objectives that we have set in for implementing business continuity management of system. Now, coming back to the business management system, this is a part of our overall management system that establishes, implements, operates, monitors, reviews, maintain, and improve business continuity. As you know, any management system, we always plan and do check and act. We follow a PDCA model. Here also the same process is followed for business continuity. We will be seeing how it is going to be achieved in the subsequent slides. Business impact analysis. Before we conduct our business continuity, implementing our business continuity management system, we are supposed to provide the business impact analysis. Business impact analysis is a process of analyzing the impact over time of disruption on the organization. How it is going to affect, what are all the recovery time objective, recovery time and time objective and recovery point objective times that we are going to set. Within that, how we can able to improve to reduce the downtime from the system perspective. Now, recovery time objective is the period of time following an incident within which a product or services can or an activity is resumed or resources are recovered. Basically, it is once a disruption happens, how quickly we are able to recover from that disruption and how we are able to make our systems available to all our customers. That is the recovery time objective. And recovery point objective is a point to which information used by an activity is restored to enable the activity to operate on resumption. Basically, this is the data point at which you are able to recover from. Basically, are we able to recover from that point in time, or we are going to recover it half an hour before, or are we going to recover it from for the day data, how it is, what is that we can do. All that can be set as part of this recovery point objective. Now, coming back to business impact analysis, what are all the process that we need to cover as part of the business impact analysis is being talked about here in this slide. If you look at it, what is the prerequisite for implementing your business and impact analysis? You should understand the context and the scope of the business continuity management system. And the context is related to your organization, related to your internal external issues, and also we are related to your interested parties. Considering all that, you have to identify the roles and responsibilities and the commitment that you have given to your clients. Whatever you have told that we will ensure 99% of uptime of our system or 99.99% of uptime. Based on those commitments and also the available resources with which you will be able to deliver or continue your business operations. These points we have to take into account and also need to prioritize our product and service and also our processes, our activities. And after prioritizing, we need to identify what is the RTO and RTO for them and get all these listed and come out with your controls implementation and then get this approval from the management for implementing those controls. And once you get the approval, then that is going to be your business continuity strategy for implementing your business continuity management system. This is how the business impact analysis is being framed. Now, coming back about ISO 22301, this is the business continuity management system standard published in the year October 2019. This is the latest version and designed to help organizations prevent, prepare. It is also we have to prevent the disruption, and we also need to ensure that we prepare for the disruption and respond to that disruption and recover from any unexpected and disruptive incidents. These are all the advantage that you are going to have when you are going to implement BCMS will be seen in the subsequent slide. Aims to safeguard the organization from a wide range of potential threats and disruptions. Also, one of the important aspect, and then it is going to be there is no restrictions on the size of the organization or the industry or the nature of business that the organization is doing. That is going to be it's all applicable to all organizations. Uh, Now, coming back to the history, in the year 1988, Disaster Recovery Institute was set up in USA, and in 1994, Business Continuity Institute was formed, and then the first publication of BS 25991 2599-1 was done in the year 2006, and in 2007 the 2599-2 was published, and ISO first released its 22301 version in the year 2012. After 7 years, they have made a revision of this 22301 and published in the year 2019. Now, what are all the benefits that you are going to get by implementing ISO 22301 standard? It's going to meet the strategic business objectives Any business continuity management system objectives should be in line with the organization's business objectives, and also it will ensure the ability to continue business with maximum output or results despite the disruption. And also it is going to establish robust response and recovery procedures able to meet the legal and regulatory requirements, and also it is going to improve your process and organizational focus. Any management system implementation is going to improve your processes. It's going to improve your organizational focus on specific area of implementation. And product, it is also going to protect the assets and the turnover and the profits of the organization. Because of disruption, if you are not able to recover your system on time, then you are going to have a loss in your revenue and loss in your profits and things like that. Considering this, and also the business continuity management system is going to serve you in order to improve those aspects of it. And also conduct independent assessment of your business continuity. All organizations can get themselves certified on, get assessed on business continuity management system and prevent large scale damage. It's also going to prevent large scale damage, and it's also reducing the legal and financial risk, and also build confidence and trust to all our interested parties. More important in all implementation of all management system is that the confidence that the clients are going to get, or the trust they are going to have on the organization, is going to be the point of focus when we implement various management systems. Now, coming back to 22301 requirements, as you know, all managements now in ISO, we have an Annex Excel concept where the classes 4 to 10 are common across various management systems like quality management system, information security management system, environmental management system, business continuity management system, and so on. So if you look at it, the concepts are that it's all common across, that each one of us, each one of the organization need to first identify the context of the organization, and it is to be talked about leadership and also planning and support, operations, performance evaluation and improvement. This is the totally 4 to 10 classes are the main structure of this ISO 22301. As you know that all ISO management systems follow a plan, do, check, act model. So if you look at it, the classes 4 to 7 are going to be on planning the implementation of business continuity management system. And class 8 is going to talk about what are all the things that you have to implement. You have to identify controls and all those things, whatever you have identified at your plan, you have to implement those controls. And then once you implement, you have to review them and analyze whether it is going to meet your requirements or not. If it is not meeting the requirements, then again we have to redo our planning. We have to go back to our planning and act on it. And we have to do the acting of it. We have to come out with our corrective actions, and then we again replan, again implement, and then again check and act. This is going to be a continuous cycle for implementing ISO 22301, the Business Continuity Management System standard. Now, coming back to class 4, the context of the organization. It is going to be on the first one is understanding the organization and its context. Here, you need to identify the internal and external issues. Based on that, you have to arrive at your context of the organization, and also needs to identify your interested parties and what are all their business continuity management system requirements that you have to identify, And also, not only their things, and they also need to take into account the legal and regulatory requirements. We need to be identified and monitored, and we have to be determining the scope for the business continuity management system as per class 4.3. And as point 4.4 is going to be talking about the entire business continuity management system. What are all the inputs to business continuity management system? What are all the process that you are going to have? How you are going to get output from that to meet the business continuity management system requirements? Now, what are all the requirements as such? What are all the documents, or what are all the policies and procedures, whatever you have to maintain to meet this class requirement? It is going to be, we have to retain the list of internal and external issues, and list of interested parties, list of legal and regulatory requirements we need to have, and that need to be implemented. Whenever we implement, we have to continuously monitor them and things like that. And scope of the business management system, including any kind of exclusions that you want to have, you can have there as part of your scope. These are all the important requirements of this class 4. With these important documents, you are supposed to be prepared and defined and maintained continuously. Now, coming back to the leadership, leadership and commitment is the first one, and second is setting up the policy, and also uh, defining the roles and responsibilities and authorities for people who are going to be involved in implementing the business continuity management system. Now, the requirements for this class are going to be your business continuity policy and communication policy, as you need to communicate the business continuity requirements to all the interested parties and the stakeholders, and roles and responsibilities for business continuity management related who are going to implement this business continuity management system in the organization. Now, coming back class 6, we will be talking about what are all the actions that we need to do in order to address the risks and opportunities. Here, before we determining the risks and opportunities, we need to conduct business impact analysis. Based on that, what are all the risks that you have identified? They are need to be treated with appropriate controls implemented in the system. And for that, you need to come out with your business continuity objectives. And business continuity objectives are important. Without any objective, we will not be in a position to achieve our results. We need to know first what we want to achieve, how we want to achieve. That is what is important in this aspect of 6.2.1 and 6.2.2. And also, as a matter of fact, any changes that you want to make for business continuity plan in continuity management system, you have to have a plan. And those plans, what are all the plans of change that you are going to have, at what frequency you are going to have those changes done? All that need to be planned, and then a document need to be prepared, and then you have to have various change management tickets. Everything need to be uh, in place. The proper change management process need to be followed in order to meet these requirements. Now, coming back to these requirements of class 6, we have business continuity risk register based on the business impact analysis that we did. And also, these risk register must have risks identified and their impact, their likelihood, and the risk value. Based on the risk value, you will be able to come out with whether the risk is high, low, medium. All that will be defined. And because of that, if the things are going to be high risks, then you have to come out with controls implementation. You have to select various controls to implement the controls. various controls need to be implemented, and we need to come out with the proper risk treatment option, like whether you have to, are you going to mitigate them, and are you going to reduce them, are you going to accept the risk, are you going to transfer the risk, are you going to avoid the risk. So all these treatment plan options we have to use in order to come out with a best business continuity risk register, management process. You have to come out with those processes very well. You have to document them, and any implementation that you do with reference to risk management process, it should be in line with the procedure that you have developed. And also, for all implementation that you do, we any risks, that for all the risk treatment plan that you have identified, they all need to be approved by the risk owners, and also it also need to be accepted by the business on the risk aspect of it. Now, business continuity objectives you have to prepare, and you have to match these objectives with your business objectives, and also plan document related to changes. Plan document related to changes to business continuity management system need to be prepared and maintained, and also sample change management tickets. What was there? What was implemented to implement those changes that you have planned in the document, in the plan document. So these are all the important requirement that you have to take care as part of implementing in the planning stage. Now, the next and important aspect is that the required resources for implementing and maintaining the business continuity management system. We have to have required resources, and it's not enough you have resources, they should have appropriate competence for implementing your business continuity management system. And also they all need to be aware of what is business continuity, how this can be implemented, and they need to be trained on all these aspects of it. And they need to be trained on business impact analysis, they need to be trained on risk assessment processes, and they need to be trained on how to prepare the documents, required artifacts, and documents, everything for the implementation of business continuity management system. And also they need to maintain document revision history, and they need to maintain these versions of documents, and all updated documents, the latest documents should be made available to all interested parties inside the organization as well as external to the organization. So these documents and process and procedures documents need to be made available in a place where easily it can be accessed, and any updates that were done, it's been updated into those areas, into those into the site. All that need to be taken into account as part of this class implementation. Now, coming back on the evidence part of it, we need to maintain evidence of BCMS resource competence. It is not, you need to first identify what are all the competence required, and then whether all these competence are available to a person or not, you have to map it. And if not, then you have to train them in order to ensure that they understand the PCMS requirements and provide appropriate support in order to implement the business continuity management system. Now, coming back on we also need to maintain the document master list related to business continuity management system. What are all the policies and procedures that you have? What are all the templates that people need to use for preparing the business continuity plan? What are all the guidelines people need to follow for implementing business continuity plan? All that need to be documented and kept as part of this, and those documents should be current, and it should be accessible to everyone. And now coming back on the operational part of it, which is the do clause of the Plan Do Check Act, where operation and planning control, we have to have plans in place, and you have to have proper procedures, proper policies and procedures in place, and we need to have the business impact analysis report approved by the management, which should be used for completing our risk assessment with reference to BCMS implementation. Also, we need to identify the strategies and the solutions, select the strategies and solutions for implementing business continuity and resource requirements and implementation of the solutions identified. All these aspects you supposed to take care of as part of the business continuity strategies and solution implementation. Now, coming back on the plans and procedures, you should need to have response structure. You need to have an organization structure related to business continuity management system, and also you need to have a process in place to communicate all the information to all the relevant stakeholders for ensuring that they are aware what they're supposed to do at what point in time and things like that, and business continuity plans and recovery plans. Then there must be a crisis management team, disaster recovery management team. All that needs to be identified and documented, and then those corresponding team and stakeholders need to be communicated on all those areas of operations. And also they need to conduct test the plan. It's not enough you prepare the plan and leave it. It is to be tested at periodical intervals, because there are changes which are happening either internally or externally. Those changes are going to make impact on your business continuity plan. So we need to ensure that we are in line with whatever changes that are happening in whether internally or externally. Those plans are updated as per the requirements, and we need the business management system objectives. Evaluation of business continuity documentation and capabilities also need to be done as part of the review. This is what we have been talking about, the review process we are talking about, that need to be done. We have to evaluate our documents and evaluate the processes and ensure that it meets the business continuity management system objectives. Now, coming back to the requirements of this document, if you look at it, evidence of business continuity management system policies and procedures are need to be there, and also we need to have the evidence for having the controls related to BCMS are implemented, and also your business continuity plan. So these are all the documents that you need to have. The business continuity plan must have the RTO and RPO. What is that you have achieved? What is the target you want to achieve? What is the actuals you have achieved? All those details you have to capture as part of the business continuity plan, which will come in handy for you to perform your next step. That is the check part of the to the management system, business continuity management system. The next one is the class 9, which will be on performance evaluation. You plan certain things and you implement, but is it enough you plan and implement and leave it? No, it is not possible. It is not enough. You have to do a periodical checking and periodical evaluation of the metrics and measurements that you are collecting as part of the implementation. And also, there has to be an independent audit conducted on the internal audit, need to be conducted by a competent person who will be conducting this audit on a periodical interval as per your internal audit procedure document. It may be every 6 months or it may be every year. Whatever time period that you have set in your audit procedure document, you are supposed to conduct your internal audit. And also, once you conduct the internal audit, then all those findings are need to be discussed in a management review meeting as per the standard requirement. The management review meeting inputs should be related to previous meetings action items, what is the status of it, and what are all the business continuity management system findings that are there, how many are being addressed, how you are going to ensure that you are going able to complete that or correct the situation or the findings, and any resource requirement or anything that has to be discussed in the management review meeting, and also the feedback from the interested parties on how to improve the business continuity management system implementation. On that aspect, we need to talk about and we have to discuss, and also all the risks that are identified as part of the business continuity management system also need to be discussed in the business continuity management system in the management review meeting, and they need to be uh, communicated, and appropriate actions also need to be identified and assigned to responsible people for implementing those actions. And those actions also need to be tracked to closure with reference to this management review meeting. So there are management review inputs and outputs which are given in the standard of ISO 22301. One can follow that standard and you can able to achieve your requirements. Now, the next and important aspect of the standard is that um, the performance evaluation. What are all the things that we need to maintain? List of metrics related to business continuity management system objectives, measurement of metrics related to business continuity management systems, targets and actuals, analysis of metrics and measurements. What is that we have done month on month or year on year? How we are faring? Whether is it going in the right direction? Is it improving? If it is not improving, any corrective action need to be identified. All that need to be documented, all that need to be evidenced to the auditors at the time of when you are conducting these business continuity management assessments. And internal audit reports and list of findings, management review records, something like sending the management review meeting review invitation, and the management review meeting minutes of meeting, and the action items identified and tracked to closure. All these documents you are supposed to maintain as part of this standard and part of this class we have to maintain. Now, coming back to the last class, which is going to be the improvement class, where you need to monitor all our non-conformities identified either through audits or through any performance evaluation things or any kind of business continuity incidents that I incurred, that all that you need to identify, and you have to come out with your corrective actions. Okay, you have to come out with your corrective actions, and you have to ensure that all findings are addressed and properly closed in order to ensure the implementation of this particular class 10.1. And also we have to come out with your improvement plan for how to improve the business continuity management system implementation and things like that. For that, you have to come out with your plan for improvement plan for that. And the requirements for this standard are non-conformity and corrective action and continual improvement. A list of non-conformities and corrective action relevant to BCMS audit and implementation, evidence on BCMS improvement plan and implementation. All these things we need to maintain and we have to showcase during the audit. So now, as we see that in ISO 22301, we have using the Plan Do Check Act uh, Plan Do Check Act model, where we have classes 4 to 7 are going to be the plan, and class 8 is for do, and class 9 for check, and class 10 for improvement or act on the whatever improvement plan that you are identifying that you have to act on it. So these are all the requirements as per the ISO 22301 classes, and we will be seeing for this thing, like how to go about our certification steps. Basically, for external certification, what are all the requirements that we need to take into account? First and foremost thing, that you have to be ready with your all policies and procedures related to business continuity management system, and also you need to implement the internal audit and the management review meetings, and those evidences are important for the certification body to start their stage 1 audit. So when you start the stage 1 audit, the auditors will, external auditors will, certification body auditors will come and evaluate, and they will conduct an opening meeting, and also they will be verifying the documents related to business continuity management system, and also a closing meeting, and then sharing the findings and issue the reports. The idea that we are going to get from the stage 1 audit is going to be area of concern, where you have to ensure that you correct those updates and update the policies and procedures process, and ensure that you are implementing it across your business continuity, across your certification period. Okay, now the stage 2 audit is the evaluation of the controls, implementation of the controls. What controls that you have identified and how you have implemented. There will be a opening meeting and a closing meeting. We will be looking at the collection of evidence, and we also conduct audits, evaluate all policies and procedures, evaluate implementation of all controls in scope, and also evaluate the evidences, request for additional evidence if it is required, it will be asked, and analyze the controls implemented. And also for implementing in business continuity management system, we will be following that, evaluate risk management and governance activities and business impact analysis, all that will be evaluated. And also we will be conducting a closing meeting with a list of findings shared with you. And once the list of findings are shared with you, you have to come out with your corrections and corrective action and implementation evidences. You have to share those things with us, for with the certification body, for ensuring that you are able to get your certificate. The lead auditor will then recommend for the certification, and then the certification decision is taken along with the certification committee in the organization, the certification body, and also with the accreditation body. And now, and then after that, the certificate will be issued. These are all the approach that we will be following for getting an external certification on ISO 22301 2019 business continuity management system. So that's it from our side, and whatever we have told today, they are all going to be general in nature. Nothing was specifically talked about any organization's implementation methodology or anything. These are all what is there in the standard. We just try to encapsulate and then give it to you. So there is nothing that we have told anything about any of these specifics to the organizations. If you want to conduct any kind of business continuity management system implementation or other assessment, you can get in touch with us. We will be happy to serve you. Thank you. Arwa.
Thank you, Mr. Swami. That was a great presentation, and I'm just hoping that everybody has learned something from our today's webinar. So now the Q&A is open for questions. So if you guys have questions, please post it in the Q&A box, and we'll be addressing those. And also, I have opened the poll, so please, we would love and really appreciate if you guys could give us your feedback quickly and just participate in our poll. So, Mr. Swami, we have one question. I'm just going to read it out to you.
No,
What
no
is
problem.
what is the difference between disaster recovery plan and business continuity plan?
Connected with ISO 27K. Yeah. So disaster recovery plan and continuity plan, business continuity plan, both are interrelated. When you talk about business continuity plan, you identify uh, thing like, what are all the services that you wanted to be active when after the disruption comes up. The disruption is there you have to ensure that what are all the services you want to bring it up and things like that. Minimum services that you want to bring it up after the disruption, they are all will be talked about. And then RPO was there. Disaster recovery is nothing but when a disaster strikes into a particular location, how are you going to ensure the continuity of your operations in other locations, like, in other locations. Basically, if you take into account that you have an office where you have a data center and there is some issues in the data center, so now how are we going to provide service to your people? For that, you need to identify some plan for how are you going to, once the disaster strikes, how are you going to continue your services, going to be decided, and from where the people are going to work, how it is going to be taken into account. All that are going to be part of your disaster recovery plan. And business continuity plan are the identification of the critical services and the how quickly you are going to recover from your disaster or rather disruption, and how you are going to do about it. These are the difference. Now the BCM, hello, yeah,
Yeah, we have one more question. That
yeah, yeah.
is BCM implementation connected with ISO 27000.
Business continuity management system is a higher range. Basically, in ISO 27000K, we have a class called business continuity, or rather security. While doing disruptions, your information security should be continued. It cannot be like, once a disaster strikes, all people can enter into your office and things like that. There you have to have minimum set of security controls should be there in place. It is one portion of it being covered as part of ISO 27K. To have a detailed and full-fledged business continuity management system, you have to refer to 22301 only. That is the standard that has come, because business continuity is one of the important aspects for people to get into. So in that context, it is going to be the standard that you will be looking at. In 27K, it is one portion has been covered as part of the business continuity. And what are all the phases of risk management? As you know, you need to, as for these things, you can refer to ISO 31000, and also on the 31000 is the best guideline document that is available from ISO, where we need to identify your internal external issues, and also need to ensure that all your risks and threats and vulnerabilities are identified. In the case of ISO 27K, in case of 22301, you need to identify what are all the services that are going to be reviewed, and what are all the this thing we have to talk about, what are all the issues that you are going to come up with. Those things need to be identified, and we have to come out with proper controls for mitigating those risks, whatever you are identifying. And risk assessment and risk treatment. Once you identify the risk, you implement controls to treat them. The treatment of the treatment of the risks will be similar to what we can say, that whether I want to avoid the risk, or am I going to reduce the risk, or am I going to accept the risk. These are all the things that is coming as part of the risk treatment plan. So collection of all these, like, starting from identification of risks till implementing the control, the entire process is going to be your risk management. It's not enough you do the risk identification and implementation once and leave it there. You have to continuously monitor them. The controls that you have implemented consistently ensure that the risk is not repeating. So that is important aspect of it. So risk management includes monitoring also. So that is also need to be taken care. Now coming back to the next question about the recovery time objective and recovery point objective. Recovery time objective, as I was telling you, that it is a time within which you are going to recover your operations or recover from the disruption that you are having. Suppose, for example, let us take, you are having an uh, internet connectivity. You have connectivity with one service provider. Now, you know that as a part of business continuity, you have to have another service provider to ensure that you do not have any downtime on your internet. So for that, what you will do, how this connectivity is going to be, whether are going to have it as active passive, how it is, you have to decide that. Based on that, your recovery time objective is going to be decided, right? And when we talk about recovery point objective, it is the data point at which you are going to be able to provide to back to the user. Basically, you are having a web application where people are entering their details onto the system. Okay, just take that example. If suppose people are entering it into the system and you are having a system by which you are able to sync it with all the databases, everything at point in the same time, and there is no delay, you are not doing any batch process or anything of that sort and things like that. So based on that, you will decide whether I'm going to make available to my users from the point immediately after the crash, at that point in time of the crash, or I'm going to give it before time, that is either half an hour before or 1 hour before or 1 day before, all that. This is what is talking about the RPO. What is the importance of redundancy in a business continuity plan? Without having proper redundancies, you will not able to achieve your business continuity at all. Because if suppose you, like I was telling about the example of internet service provider, if you do not have opportunity to fall back on another alternate, it is very difficult for you to provide continuous service to your clients. So now you understand the importance of redundancy on that. But again, having said that, it's also going to be decided based on the amount of investment that you have to make. All that are going to be considered when you are trying to have redundancy set in place. Yeah.
I just see that few people are still left to participate in our poll. So I would just like to request everybody that please just participate in our poll. Your feedback is really valuable for us. It helps us improve. So please do participate in our polls, and we'll just wait for another 5 minutes. If there are any more questions, please post it now. And yeah, also, we do provide ISO related consultancy and audit, and also, the training services are there. If you want to get ISO trained, we do have the lead auditor and lead implementer program for ISO 27001 and ISO 27701. So if you want any information on those services, then you can always send us an email. And for our future webinars, you can always stay connected with our LinkedIn page. We continuously keep posting about our webinars over there. So, you can stay updated with us.
Yes, we will be providing. We will be able to provide that training also. 22,301 lead auditor. We are in the
Yeah.
process of getting ourselves ready for that.
Yeah. So in the coming few months, we'll also be providing ISO 22301.
We will also come out with 20,000 ISO 20,000 also. service
Yeah,
management system also.
close to new, we are going to be including the training services. As of now, we have 27,001 and PIN, which is 27701. Okay, so I don't think we have any further questions. So I'll just wrap it up. Anything else, Mr. Swami?
Thank you, and thank you all.
Okay. Okay, fine. So thank you all and stay tuned with us for upcoming webinars.